Hey guys, property search, think Gladfish. I'm Brett Wood and this is Property Rant. So today what we're going to cover is yield or growth. And I get this all the time from clients, and I get this all the time from salespeople that I speak to. And it's almost like it has to be an either or situation. And I've always said all along that actually it shouldn't be an either or, it should be both. Okay, now here's one of the fundamental things when you're doing property and investing in property and choosing property. Okay, it's called fundamentals. All right, it's called shops, schools, transport links, major employees, major investment. Okay, they're the components that go into fundamentals. If you buy something with good solid fundamentals, then actually you've got the property which will keep you, really, really happy over the entire period of ownership. And that doesn't mean there are not going to be issues and things like that. But the interesting thing here is that a lot of people mistakenly go, well, I want a yield property. Okay, actually you can get both. But what you tend to find, and this is what they're actually saying without really realizing it, is what you tend to find is a lower price property gets you a higher yield, okay, and you sacrifice the growth, all right, whereas a higher price property will get you a lower yield, okay, but a higher growth, all right. Now, depending on what level you're going to, whether it's a 100,000 property or a 200,000 pound property or a £1 million property, a £1 million property is going to be much higher growth, and actually the growth component will be a lot more, because let's say, and this is a roundabout, and this goes for a number of countries around the world, at a lower yield or high yield, you're going to look at about 8%, okay? Somewhere between 6 and 10, I would say, would be what I would consider high yield. Now, some people will say 12, 15s. I'll talk about that in a second. 8% yield and 5 to 8% growth ish, maybe. Sometimes it's a lot less. And what you tend to find is this type of property that's lower price, actually when you do have a downturn, it doesn't recover as quick. Whereas this stuff, which has a much better fundamentals, because it's more a higher price, actually recovers a lot quicker, and so you're getting this every single year, all right? So it's one of these things where actually, it depends what you want, or you can get in the middle for both. All right, so some companies just sell high yield. So they'll say we won't sell anything less than 10%. But the other thing is, you've got to look at how they calculate yield, because a lot of times that is deceiving, okay? And it's a deception, because what they do is they say, this is the rent, and the rent is actually above what it really is going to be. This is the mortgage, and the mortgage is always cheaper than what it's going to be, all right? And this is a profit per month, and it's not profit per month, okay? You've got to add in management fees, you've got to add in void periods, you've got to add in all these costs along with keeping a property and holding it over the long term, because property is not necessarily a trading game. You're not getting in and out and in and out and in and out. Stamp duties and all those costs have to come into it. Yeah, so generally you're going to hold a property for a long period of time. I mean, I talk about 7 to 10 years. The reality is I probably hold mine a lot longer. All right, so the whole thing here, and what I say is both, you want both of these, but depending on your income or depending on your need for capital, so if you've got a really good income, high income, then you can tend more towards this side of the game and focus more on the capital, because you'll make more money from the capital than you will the cash flow. But if you're limited income, okay, or you're just after an income, then you can focus more on this side, which is the high yield side. So this comes down to strategy, portfolio strategy, and it just depends on your individual circumstance. If you've got lots of debt, that's weighing you down from a cash flow perspective, then stick to the cash flow side, all right, or the high yield side. If you haven't got that, you've got virtually no debts apart from, say, mortgages, and you've got good income, then go for more the capital side, because you'll make more money this side than you will this side, okay, as a total. All right. Now, interestingly, what I work on is this, okay, about 3 to 10% is what I would say is a normal yield, all right. 10% above, I'd be very skeptical, all right. And 15% above, I'd run for the hills, because I don't believe that you can make 15% sustainable year after year after year after year. So it's probably deception. All right. Now, a lot of times what people will do is they'll put rental guarantees in for the first couple of years at, say, 8%. All right. Now, at 8%, what you've still got to do in doing your research is check the market, because you might find the market is actually 4%, and all they're doing is they may have upped the price, taken some of that price and put that into a rental guarantee. So you think that it's a good investment. But remember, you'll probably be owning it for longer than the period of that rental guarantee. So that's just some things to think about yield versus growth. You know, for me, I'm a growth person. I'm more focused on this end. That doesn't mean that I don't consider this, but we've got lots of clients that are this focused, not this focused. And we've got lots of clients, and we certainly educate them to consider both. And as they build their portfolio, you may find that you build a bit too much into the capital side, so you come across on the cash flow side, and vice versa. Okay, so that's where the portfolio strategy, and if you want to learn about that, then speak to one of the team and they can take you through all this strategy stuff, one of the portfolio managers. All right guys, have a great day, live with passion.